CODY Rhodes versus Logan Paul. And CODY Rhodes knocks off Logan Paul in Saudi Arabia. They're getting 2 pay-per-views this year. And I thought this was a pretty good match. And Logan Paul really performs well in Saudi Arabia for whatever reason. Dom, what did you think of this main event?
We've got a pretty cool short clip that you put together of me kind of criticizing the CODY Rhodes character angle that they're going with here. Let me be clear. I'm not enjoying the CODY Rhodes character direction, but I do enjoy him in the ring. You can't deny that he's a great worker. This was a fun match. I was hedging on it when it started, wondering like, okay, it's been a pretty good premium live event so far. I wonder if the main event will live up to main event status. And they gave him about 24 minutes in the ring, bell to bell. There was a ref bump, but they turned it into something good. It wasn't a ref bump to have your cousins come in and destroy your opponent. It was just a ref bump, to add a little drama to it, and the ref has to recover at the end. It was an accidental ref bump too, so it was fun. Logan reversed a whip into the corner, and that's when the first ref bump happened. Then Logan follows CODY into the corner with a splash. CODY moves out of the way, so the ref gets hit by both guys. First by CODY a little bit because he tried to hold up, and then full-on splash from Logan Paul. Then as CODY steps out of that, hits the vertebreaker and covers, but there's no ref. And then as CODY goes to check on the ref, Logan Paul turns around, hits the low blow on him, takes out the brass knuckles. But the Arab guest ring announcer, whose name I forget, but he was fantastic. We've seen him at least once before on these pay-per-views from Saudi Arabia. He grabs Logan Paul's foot near the ropes to stop him. Logan kicks the announcer, turns around to CODY, but CODY's recovered by that point. He blocks the punch with the brass knuckles, hits 3 crossroads. The referee recovers, crawls over, and while grabbing his own ribs and chest, 1, 2, 3. Pretty dramatic pinfall. I'm with you. I thought it was a great match. Logan Paul, I thought, performed really well here. He looks more and more like he is full-time talent. Like he has that ability. He also understands ring psychology. He was great in this match, yelling at the announce booth, getting into it with Michael Cole. Corey Graves had to stand between them for a while. He's getting into it with people in the crowd. When the mic's on him and CODY Rhodes has the figure 4 on him, Logan is screaming, he's gonna break my legs. He's trying to drag to the rope. So he's almost going too much, like he's almost a baby face, but he understands working in the ring, and maybe we'll get to that a little more in a special feature that that you have planned for today that you uncovered somewhere. But he's becoming a good worker, like a top-notch, full-time, worthy of the roster worker, and he's in there with CODY Rhodes. Fun match. I don't want to call out too many spots here because we got the main ones. What did you think of it, and were there any spots other than that finishing sequence I went through that you wanted to highlight?
There are things, I have to say, it was a good match for sure. CODY's a top guy and has been for years now. And it's great to see him with the belt and seeing him be like the fighting champ. But specifically, Logan Paul performed pretty well in his role. And I just want to curb everyone's enthusiasm a little bit with Logan Paul, because I've heard he is great by some people. And I'm like, he is not great. There is still there, but he certainly is ready. He's cool to be in a main event, and he's performed really well in his role.
Worthy of the U.S. title that they put on him for.
Oh, certainly. Yeah,
okay,
he's definitely a really good U.S. title champ. Like, he's really brought some legitimacy to that. This is going to be a weird compliment, but I like how unpolished he is in the ring with some of his moveset, because it just feels like he's overloaded with athleticism, and some of the stuff isn't so clean, and it almost looks better because it's not clean. There's a realism to it. I think it might be like a little bit of a happy accident. Sometimes we see, some of the luchadors, and they're really clean with the stuff, and it looks so clean that it's just like it looks like gymnastics. With him, it don't look like gymnastics, right? Sometimes, you know, there was an arm drag off the top rope, and it looked real sloppy and stiff and awkward, and I was like, actually looks better as a result. So
yeah, it looks like a real defensive move by Cody coming out of the corner there on Logan, who was perched up top. Some of the things Logan Paul does, you're right, he has tremendous body control and agility. When he splashed Cody Rhodes through the Saudi Arabian announce table, filling in for the Spanish announce table, getting their equipment destroyed. He's up on the top turnbuckle, diving off onto the announce table. He leaps and turns his body in midair so that he hits Cody perpendicular, and just the table, you know, it's like the screws have been taken out. The table doesn't break. Like none of the boards break. It's just as if it has no screws in it, and all the pieces just fall over, and the top of the table just drops to the floor. But it was a great athletic move for him to up in the air, turn his body, land perfectly where he had to. I mean, he has all of the athletic ability, and you could see that because Cody's got a great amateur background in wrestling, so Cody can grapple.
Yeah,
he's quick, he's fast, his sequences look fantastic. Logan Paul has some of that too.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and if he doesn't, his athleticism is covering for it.
That's the other thing about Logan. It's great to see him in there, because I've noticed some of the, let's just say, amateur or folk style wrestling that he does display in there that is noticeable versus maybe somebody who's just a bodybuilder that goes in there and wrestles. Like, you could tell that he really looks like an actual fighter, or at least has that kind of more so that type of background. He did, like, once he grabbed a whizzer, which is basically like an over under, and that's not something you ever really see in pro wrestling, but you'll see that a lot, like when you're talking about like folk style wrestling. So that's really good stuff that I saw from him. I only have one more spot to call out, and I am kind of burying the lead because I'm not talking about the match, but there was a move called the overbomb that he did. So instead of like power bombing Cody Rhodes, like picking him up and power bombing him, he lifts him and just keeps going with it, and Cody just goes over and slams face first onto the mat. So this move, the overbomb, I did back in NJCW accidentally. I was wrestling Killer Ken Fulgham, and I jumped as hard as I could when he did the power bomb, and we just botched, and we went over. And when we did the botch, I landed face first. I knocked my front tooth out. It was brutal. Like, it really hurt. So I liked seeing the overbomb in a pro wrestling match like years later after we accidentally did it.
There you go. They went back through, found those old NJCW recordings.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this is a fantastic move. What do you say we throw this into the title match in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because I saw the overbomb. I was like, we did that accidentally. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe they did it accidentally, too, as an homage.
Yeah, right. It's like what's his name? Jake the Snake. His DDT was a botch, and that's what it originally came from, and now the DDT is such a huge move.
Yeah. He kicked his foot out before he went down with the wrestler for the spike there, and now it's led to all sorts of variations of it too, the inverted DDTs and everything. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to bury the lead here. Anything else you want to talk about this match?
No, we are talking about the match. It's more than just Cody getting the pinfall. It's whether or not this is worthy of a main event, and I think we're in agreement that Logan Paul lived up to it. He did this once before in Saudi Arabia. The first pay-per-view I watched when we started Don't Bury the Lead was the fall of 2022. It was whatever they were calling it in early November back then. But it was in Saudi Arabia. It was against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, right. You got a taste of Logan Paul, and that was when he was people really didn't think he'd be that good, or there would be like question marks about him. Now it's
and he was kind of a baby face too back then, because he was a part-time wrestler, still just a really famous